Our Vegas fantasy is not what you think. Hello! Welcome to another edition of Our Vegas Fantasy, the Week 6 edition of the 2018 season. My name is Kenny Davidsen. My friend Christina Shaw is to my left.
Hi, Kenny.
And our friend Steve Weiss is joining us to my right. Hello, Steve.
What's up?
What's up? What a fantastically crazy week of fantasy football this was.
Did you expect anything less?
It's always this way. How did you do this week, Christina?
I did all right. I went 2-2 with my 4 leagues.
Okay.
Yeah, still 0-5 in our one league.
We're going to talk about you and I both have an 0-5 team that we need to talk about because we think that team's better than our record. Steve, how'd you do? 7 leagues, right?
7 leagues, 6-1.
6-1. All right.
Hey now.
Excellent week for Steve.
Things are starting to even out. Like I think the things that are supposed to happen are starting to happen.
All right.
And it's less unpredictable craziness. If that
Very
makes
nice.
sense.
Very
And Kenny,
nice.
how did you do?
I had my best week, 16-8.
Hey.
10 leagues, I was the top scorer.
Whoa.
Yeah. I had my best week.
Very nice.
By a lot. I am trending upward. I made a deal today in a league that I'm not doing so great in a super flex league. I traded Blake Bortles to a guy.
Somebody traded for him?
Yes. Well, it's a super flex league. Blake Bortles has Blake Bortles. This is not The Good Place, ladies and gentlemen. The show on NBC. Blake Bortles actually is decent in fantasy, and I traded Blake Bortles for Devonta Freeman. I need a running back, so I think that's going to help me.
Do you have 4 quarterbacks or something?
I have 2 other quarterbacks. I have Cam and I have Baker Mayfield. I'm going to run with them for the rest of the year. I'm just going to, in the 1 week that Camera has bye,
right.
So I have to worry about that. And Baker has a bye in week 11, and that team's 2-3 and sinking. So you know what? I'll worry about week 11 when I get there.
Do you have to stash one too?
You don't have to. You could just have 2 quarterbacks. The thing with Superflex is that in the second slot, you don't have to put a quarterback. You can put anybody. I could put a tight end in that slot if I felt like it. So, week 11, I'll worry about it. I mean, I don't have Cam, so that's fine. I would like to get a third quarterback again, but
because even a low-end quarterback's going to be better than most running backs.
Yes. I mean, there was a league in Superflex. I started Josh Rosen.
Right.
And was not a great start. He was terrible.
Yeah, but if he throws for 200 yards and 0 touchdowns, that's still more points than Devonta Freeman might get.
Absolutely right. But in this situation where I'm sinking, I was like, I need a running back.
Yeah.
When your running back 2 is LaShawn McCoy.
Are we going to talk about trades at some point?
We might. We can get into trades.
Because that brings up an interesting point of you guys all grilling me about trade offers.
Yes. Oh,
what did you just say? That you were sinking in that league and you needed to do something?
I did. Okay. I had to make a move. But I needed a running back very badly, and a guy actually was willing to trade me a possible running back 2 for Bortles. I am quite all right with that. So I tried to get my first offer was Cam for Ingram and Galladay, but the guy didn't go for it. So,
that would have been good.
I would love that. Even though Ingram and Galladay were both on bye this week, I would have lived with a loss this week to get those 2 on my team, but
that would leave you with just Baker.
Baker
Mayfield
with Bortles and Mayfield, which is not great. But
not great, but then you have
you can win a Superflex with a crappy quarterback, but it's again the most fun style league, Superflex league. So anyway, let's get to the highs of the week. How about Isaiah Crowell? Did anybody start Isaiah Crowell in any league this week?
No.
Of course not.
No, of course not.
I don't have
On your bench.
He is just so frustrating. Every other week he has a good game.
Right.
It's literally bad game, good game, bad game, good game. It's so frustrating.
But this isn't a good game. This is 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's never going to do this again. Right?
No.
I mean, get real.
He's just not trustworthy, and it's so frustrating with him.
He's not even the snap leader in their own backfield.
No, Powell is getting more snaps. Yeah, so
that's what makes it so
next
frustrating.
week for Crowell, 10 carries, 22 yards.
Like even if I
had and a fumble.
Right. Even if I had all the running backs on the Jets, I wouldn't have started Crowell.
No, absolutely not. There's no chance. How about Robbie Anderson?
If he continues to have chemistry with Darnold, I mean, it could be a must start. Could be.
You know what? What's interesting to me is Enunwa.
Enunwa's a little worrisome right now, but this is the first week that he absolutely busted completely. The last couple of weeks, he was still getting you a 10-point floor.
But so I have Enunwa on a couple teams, but now the emergence of Robbie Anderson back into the fold, just showing that he does have some chemistry with Darnold. Like, you can't take a 0 and expect to win weeks. And I kind of fluky was able to win, even though Enunwa got 0. But it's like moving forward, I don't want to have that kind of liability on my team.
Of course.
But that's with any player.
Right. But but what I was thinking was that Nunwa like had a high floor that he was always going to get like 4 or 5 catches a game. But he's not going to because he just got 0.
I would say this is an aberration for Nunwa. He's still a safety valve for a quarterback that really needs it. He acts like a tight end on that team. They don't have a tight end, and he lines up and gets the type of passes that a tight end would get. I would say give this another chance. Don't worry about this yet. Robbie Anderson was not, it was 2 long touchdown passes for Robbie Anderson. That's fluky. That's way more fluky to me than a 0 for a Nunwa.
Correct.
Just playing devil's advocate, that's what Robbie Anderson does.
That is what Robbie Anderson does, but again, you don't do that every week. I mean, that's like having Mike Wallace on your team, or now Traquan Smith, who did this last night for the Saints. It's not common.
It's boom or bust.
It's boom or bust.
Right.
I would still... I'm still more into Nunwa than Anderson. Let's play one more week with it. Next week, different narrative.
I think Anderson led the league last year with touchdowns over 20 yards.
He was excellent last year.
I'm just saying obviously 2 long touchdowns is fluky. But if there's anyone in the league who can do it, it's Robbie Anderson.
No doubt. And can Darnold get him the ball? He can. He's got the arm to do it. So, but it's something to keep an eye on. We'll have to see.
The Jets are a tough one.
Jets are annoying.
All over the place.
The Jets are going to be very frustrating for fantasy all year and the entire team. How about Devontae Adams playing hurt? But when your receiving core is decimated, no Randall Cobb, no Geronimo Allison. Marquez Valdez-Scantling was lovely, but Devontae went off and finally gave you a really good wide receiver 1 performance this week. Excellent numbers.
140 yards and 1 touchdown. 29 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Their squad is beat up.
Are you surprised?
He was due. I mean, he's been underwhelming. He hadn't given you a 100-yard game yet. He's been a little touchdown dependent, so it was nice to actually see it happen. But he's the best receiver on that team. He's one of the best receivers in the league, so it's good to see.
That game was hard to watch.
It was. So I told you I had top 10. I had the top scorer in 10 leagues this year, and most of that was because I own Eric Ebron in a lot of leagues. And the 2 leagues that I didn't play him, that I actually I thought a better guy to start, I lost. So there you go. And I would have won one of them if I started Ebron over Jared Cook. How frustrating is that?
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
No, Eric Ebron, 15 targets, 31 fantasy points in a PPR, and I know you.
Yeah. Speaking of fluky, to me that's a little more fluky. That's his best career game.
It's the numbers are fluky. He's not going to do that again.
Right.
But if Doyle is out, the target share is not fluky with Ebron. He's a tight end 1 if Doyle's out.
Who's very reliable.
Yes.
Very reliable.
Yeah, the thing with Ebron, he drops passes and he's very annoying. But very annoying because he drops easy passes. Yeah. But you know what? If Doyle's out, he's good. Now, if Doyle comes back in, we change that.
Different story.
Eric Ebron was a first-round draft pick. You know who he was drafted ahead of?
Who was he drafted ahead of?
I think he was like the 8th overall pick, and number 9 was Odell Beckham.
Oh, for goodness sake.
He was drafted ahead of Beckham.
And it was the Detroit Lions. Right. So is that a surprise that they screwed one up?
There's someone else in that draft class. I'll look it up.
Look it up. Yeah. How about Joe Mixon coming back from injury and just coming back to being Joe Mixon?
I am so shocked. Lovely? 2 games. I really thought he was going to be a little bit more sore or something.
Yeah.
Coming back hot.
Yeah, Bernard being out helped that too. They needed Mixon. Miami stinks.
Yeah, they had a good
matchup.
And
Cincinnati went off on them. And the defense went off on Miami too. So it was a good game for Mixon.
Miami started 3-0, right?
Miami started 3-0. They're 3-2.
Right.
Yep.
I think they're...
How?
Because they stink.
How are they... Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they're
How did they start 3-0?
That's what I'm saying. How?
Yeah, I don't know how they're not 1-4. So...
What do you think about Mark Walton being a good little stash?
I would prefer... He's a good stash. I'm actually holding Bernard in a league where I had him. Because if Bernard gets healthy, he's definitely the guy. And Bernard showed you when Mixon's out, Bernard is an RB1.
Well, yeah.
So Walton, though, but Walton's there. And they run the ball. So he's a guy right now behind Mixon, without a doubt.
Well, do you think Mixon is at risk for re-injury?
I don't think so. But hey, listen, I think any running back, you got to know who their handcuff is. You got to know who the guy behind him is.
The Bengals are a good offensive team this year.
They're a great offensive team. That's a surprise this year. We didn't expect that. Not at all. They look very good. So
very un-Bengal-like.
Very un-Bengal-like. The DNA of the Bengals changing. We talked about team DNA. We'll see. So, and now for the segment we all love to hate. Who crapped the bed this week? Who crapped the bed? Did you crap the bed? Did Steve crap the bed? Did Tina crap the bed? We all want to know who crapped the bed. Crap the bed! Has anybody ever called you Tina before?
One person did, and I hated it ever since.
We won't do that again. I decided. It was spur of the moment.
Ex-Tina. People call me Ex-Tina.
Ex-Tina?
Yeah.
It's Ex-Tina. Did Ex-Tina crap the bed? Could do the next time.
Yeah, all right.
So there you go. So who crapped the bed this week? Well, we could come up with a real obvious one. I don't know if anybody started Marcus Mariota, but is anybody going to start Marcus Mariota again?
No.
Oh my!
He only plays well against the Eagles, of course.
Of course.
Yes, against the Eagles, he's fantastic. Boy, he stunk against the Buffalo Bills.
His longest pass was 23 yards.
Oh my God, they're a mess.
They are.
They're an absolute mess, and they're 3-2, right?
Stupid.
Tennessee. How weird is that?
I
Right?
think they're still leading the AFC.
They're still leading the South. Yeah, go figure that out. Well, Jacksonville's on their way, though. Jacksonville's going to win that division hands down.
Sure.
Houston looked pretty good, too.
I think Houston's a good team with a bad record.
I think Houston's a very good team. My worry with Houston is that Deshaun Watson's going to get himself killed. Literally.
Yeah, I think he is banged
hard
up.
hits.
He takes some hard hits. The guy's got to learn how to slide. He reminds me of RG3.
Yep.
Like, just enormous talent, but just, God, you've got to sacrifice yourself. You've got to preserve your body. He's going to get killed out there. I take responsibility for this one. Derek Carr. I am a Derek Carr guy, and he just stunk. Now, they didn't even run plays. Like, LA had the ball all game, and Derek, they couldn't run plays. But,
I don't
he
think
wasn't any good.
he crapped the bed. I think he always craps the bed.
2 weeks ago, 400 yards passing is not crapping the bed.
But that's
and
it.
2 years ago, he was one of the top 5 quarterbacks in
MVP
football.
candidate.
Okay, that was 2 years ago.
Well, he's not even 30 years old.
I understand that, but his fantasy points this year are horrible.
They're horrible because he's not throwing touchdown passes. He's not throwing touchdown passes because of Lynch. He's got his yards this year. He's top 10 in quarterback yards. He's not bad. He's going to have weeks where he's going to get you 30
top
points.
5, I think.
Is he top 5?
I think he might be 5th.
Yeah. He's gonna have great weeks.
I don't.
And the one thing that we were wrong about in the preseason, the Raider offense for the most part is pretty darn good, and they have to be pretty darn good because their defense is god awful. So I think Carr's gonna put up some weeks this year. I think it'll happen.
You know who showed his face this week was Martavis Bryant.
He did. How about that?
Yeah.
Who?
That came out of nowhere.
Just kidding.
And you know who also showed his face this week was Amari Cooper, which we didn't put in the who crapped the bed section.
What was his stat line on him?
1 target.
Cooper did not show his face.
Amari Cooper, 1 target.
So to me, that's what you can expect from the Raiders this year is that you can't really depend on any of them.
No,
I mean,
I
Jordy
would agree with
Nelson, Bryant, Cooper. If I had Cooper, he'd be like an easy sell high candidate. He's got name recognition, name value. Someone might be interested, but I bet you could turn him into a RB2 or 3.
I have a league. Ken Bolke will appreciate this. Somebody traded in one of my leagues Amari Cooper for Ronald Jones II. How do you like that? That's how down on Cooper he was. It's how much he did not want Cooper on his team.
He's on most waiver wires.
That's called selling low, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Will Fuller crapped the bed. Was playing hurt, but the bigger concern if you're a Will Fuller owner is the emergence of Kiki Kute.
Yeah. Who scored again?
He did score again, and who just looks like a fun, fast player.
Fresh
player. He looks like a
fascinating,
good player.
Whoa.
Yeah, fun, fresh, and fascinating. Kiki Kute.
Yeah, flipping fancy.
Oh, jeez.
Flabbergasting.
This is our rap show, ladies and gentlemen. So now, what do you expect out of Will Fuller going forward?
Did he re-injure himself? That's what I'm really worried about.
I think he's healthy. I think he's all right. I would be a little concerned, though.
He's not. Can you really sit him, though, if he's playing?
No.
Right.
Well, the streak's finally over. He didn't score a touchdown with Watson. Didn't he have like a 5-game streak or something?
He did.
He had scored a touchdown every
100 yards and either a score or just 100 yards receiving.
Oh, okay.
5 games straight with Deshaun Watson.
You just can't sit him.
We shall see. That'll be interesting. Vance McDonald, a lot of people picked him up this week, and he didn't do nothing.
I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it. I am pissed.
I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it.
I do want to talk about it. I jumped on the bandwagon, and It just wasn't good.
That was the game to jump on too.
Yeah, I know.
Highest under over of any game, I think.
And the Steelers lived up to their
they put up points. He just didn't get the passes.
My fear with Vance McDonald is that he is clearly the fourth option in that offense behind Juju and Brown and whoever the running back's going to be, whether it be Connor or Bell. So I think you're going to get weeks with McDonald. It's going to be very up and down.
Well, so Ben threw 29 passes. 13 were to Brown. 16 were spread out among 7 different players.
There you go. And they
only
need to
threw
get Brown
29,
back.
is that right?
29 passes.
But that's actually low for him, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
he's usually toward 40.
They were blowing the Falcons out.
Right,
so
they didn't need
him,
to, yeah.
You know? And speaking of blowouts, and, you know, you can't explain this when you play fantasy, but, like, Alvin Kamara is just not involved last night. And if you needed Alvin Kamara to win your league, well, you lost. And what do you do about that? There's nothing you do.
No.
You know?
You enjoy the 4 wins that he got you from the other 4 weeks.
That is absolutely right. And here's the thing. If New Orleans, their defense is still not good. Lattimore got hurt last night. I know they're on a bye this week. But if their defense is not good, New Orleans is going to need to score points, and we all know they can score points.
Yeah.
So they're going to be fine. And Kamara will be fine. But it was really, really nice to see Mark Ingram have a nice night last night.
And they gave it to him. They fed him.
Yeah, they sure did. It looked really good. So on the heels of who crapped the bed, now we have a few. What the hell do we do with these guys? What the hell do we do with Doug Baldwin?
Hold him a few more weeks solely on his reputation?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably can't play him, and dropping him. I mean, if you need to pick up Kiki Qt, like if you need to pick up someone, like go for it. But
yeah, but do you drop Doug Baldwin for Kiki Qt?
In like a 10-team, I'm in a 10-team league where there's like all kinds of name recognition guys on the. I picked up LaShawn McCoy.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay.
Why?
I mean, this was 2 weeks ago, actually. I was 0-2. I was getting crushed in that league. Oh, why did I pick him up?
Yeah.
Because the Eagles might get him back.
The Eagles might get him back. How would you like that?
I would really like if the Eagles got Bell.
Yeah.
Week 8.
Rumors
but
are
Bell's going to cost too much for 1 year. I feel like Bell wants to just go somewhere, like he's going to make someone a chump to pay him, and then he's going to leave.
And on the heels of Bell, how's this for a chump? You come back. No, seriously. I'm going to report to my team on their bye week so I get paid.
Yeah, that's
when they're not playing football. For real?
It's a real scummy.
I know as fantasy players, we love Bell because we need him. But if you're football, like just in real football, who wants this guy? Seriously.
Yeah, he seems like
it's a pain in the ass.
Like a jerk.
But he makes it seem like he's such this great guy. In some of the reports, he's like, oh, well, I'm just trying to preserve my body, and I'm doing this because of this and that. And he makes it seem like, and that's great that he's trying to do that. But at the same time, it's just like, I don't really know if I believe that.
I see both sides of it, because the thing is, like, David Johnson, Todd Gurley, these other guys are getting these massive contracts, and Bell's just as good as those guys.
I think if you're the Eagles,
they're half his age.
They are half. Well, I think if you're
not half.
They're not half, but in football years, they are.
Yeah.
I think if you're the Eagles, though, when you have a winning culture there, I would stay away from that if I were them. There's no need. Wentz is so good too. I mean,
that's the real reason. So Wentz is on the last year of his rookie contract. So next year they're gonna have to pay Wentz for sure. He might get the biggest contract in NFL history. You never know.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
I mean, realistically, he could.
Yeah, he could.
So I don't think they have the cap space to also pay Bell.
And they said they're not interested in Bell. I think that's a smart move. I don't think they need him. Anyway, we got a little off topic with that. But yeah, Doug Baldwin.
Anyway, Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, I'm primed. Seattle does not throw the ball as often. This is now the Chris Carson, Mike Davis show along with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a good day, but he didn't even throw the ball that much either. And they put up points against the Rams. But Baldwin, one target. I'm nervous about that. And I have to start him in my 0-5 league. I got to start him this week. I have nobody else.
I'm nervous about Russell Wilson, too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
He's not good.
How about, what do you do with Alex Collins?
Ugh, please tell me. I have him in like 3 leagues.
It's just going to be a split backfield. They're each going to have good game and bad games, and you just kind of, if you drafted, or if you not really drafted him, if you picked him up, you have to be prepared for that. Them splitting it.
Well, the problem is he's been fumbling. Or he had to fumble 2 games ago. I guess he has 2 fumbles this year, but it was at the goal line. So, like, for running back, if you fumble at the goal line, that's like a huge red flag. That is literally what you are practicing to not do. That
But they're
is
still
basically
using
your
him.
only job is like don't drop the ball at the goal line. No, but now they're using Buck Allen at the goal line.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're splitting carries now.
Right, but for fantasy, yeah, I mean it's tough. Like he's not guaranteed anything. They still want to use him. I read something about Jim Harbaugh said, wait, Jim or John?
That's John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh
Yeah.
said he's like he wants him to something about ripping. He's like, yeah, we got to let him rip, meaning like he still likes the guy, but he's just not going to give him the full workhorse workload, you know.
And that's a game this week. They're playing Tennessee this week. That's just a game. Ugh. Have to stay away from.
Right.
Stay away.
Yeah,
from
I would
games.
try to avoid Collins if you can, but
Yep.
the thing is, it's running backs. Like,
Right. Somebody's going to have to run the ball.
yeah, and you have to put someone in your lineup. I think he's guaranteed to have like 10 touches. He's caught a couple passes, but not a lot. He's like a low ceiling kind of guy.
He definitely is.
What do you think, Kenny?
You know, I mean, if you've got better options, you sit him. I mean, look, he is getting the ball. It's not like he's being sat. You know, he's not being benched. He's getting the ball.
Just that one game.
I think, you know...
I think he looks good. Whenever you ever watch a
looks
Ravens
great.
game, he like has this Marshawn Lynch look to him.
Yeah.
Like he jukes around and then he powers through. He knocks guys over. Should trade him to the Eagles.
We'll take him.
That's the theme of the week.
Trade him to the Eagles. Who should we trade to the Eagles this week? What the hell do you do with Kenyon Drake? Look at him go off this week.
Yeah.
7 catches or whatever it was, a touchdown.
Nobody
Right?
played him this
but
week.
you know, Gore's still getting more.
What was the split this week of their touches?
I didn't. Drake had more touches overall, but it was catching passes,
Receiving more
right,
yards.
Just
more than-
fine.
right.
That's
But
just-
Gore was still. Gore's the lead running back at age 90.
How is he still alive?
Takes care of his body.
He sure does. Listen, go in the Hall of Fame. That's fine. But man, you know, I'm stuck with. I traded for Drake too. You know, the fear is Adam Gase. Like if Drake's his best player. Drake is absolutely their best offensive player. It's figuring out how to use the guy.
Right.
You know, and just like let it loose for the guy, for goodness sake.
So you playing him this week?
I have a league where I have to play him, and other leagues I have better options, so I
Right.
won't. But maybe if he shows some consistency, then I can get him back in the lineup. Listen, he's an asset. If he starts producing like this every week, he's great.
That's the same with Stills. Kenny Stills.
Yeah, Kenny Stills. That's another
It's
nightmare.
another nightmare.
Right,
Any,
he's just-
any Dolphin's a nightmare.
Right. They're just all over the place.
They are.
I think he's more. Drake is more like game flow dependent. Last week when he got like 3 touches or something, it's because they were just getting destroyed, right?
Yes.
So he just didn't get the ball anymore.
It's also running plays dependent. Miami actually ran plays this week. But
Right,
lately they've been
right,
running
right.
50 or less plays a game.
I think he's probably trending upward, and I think you probably scored by trading for him last week.
I think so. Well, I gave nothing up. And 2 leagues I gave Chris Godwin up for him. Chris Godwin's good, but
That's
but
not. Yeah, that's not nothing.
that's not a bad deal. But I have him. We'll see what happens. We
Yeah,
talked
but
about.
for running back depth, that's good.
Oh yeah, and he's good running back.
There's a million
I'm
receivers
I'm
you
happy
could
to
use.
have him. So, Amari Cooper, we just said, you know, you trade him for Ronald Jones. That's what you do if you have Amari Cooper. Good grief. I am so happy I stayed away from Amari Cooper this year. I don't have any shares of him, and I will not. I'm done with him.
I have him in one league.
Yeah.
He's the same as Crowell. It's just every other week.
Yeah.
Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. So
Yeah.
it's like sit him out one week and then play him.
I know. That
Yeah, we'll play him
you
this week
can't-
against Seattle.
It's hard to play that game though. That's why I don't often change kickers. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, you just got to play the same guy, and then you
Yeah.
take the good weeks with the bad. Although we'll get to Mason Crosby.
Oh,
later.
we will. I mean, I don't know how you start. I don't know how. You
I might
start
have to
on
drop
Amari
him because,
Cooper.
like, oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how you
think
start.
Crosby, he must have like a groin issue.
I bet you Crosby comes back and hits 5 field goals next
Yeah,
week. But
probably.
anyway, what the hell do you do with Larry Fitzgerald?
Please.
He's turned 90, ladies and gentlemen. He's officially a 90-year-old football player.
This is what you do with Larry Fitzgerald. You don't play him until he puts up numbers.
Yeah.
If he ever puts up numbers.
You take him to synagogue so he gets. You know where I'm going with this. This young Jewish quarterback.
Oh. Josh Rosen.
You okay, Kenny?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that.
You knew where I was going, right?
I realized it, and I was like, oh, don't go there.
Some inside jokes
like-
I don't
Inside
know about.
jokes.
Larry,
Yes.
it's a mitzvah to catch a touchdown.
Oh, man. Larry Fitzgerald, yeah, I think you're stuck with him. Do you drop Larry Fitzgerald? Do you drop him?
I don't think so. I mean, it's all super dependent. In a 10-teamer, yeah, for sure. If
10
there's someone to pick,
is getting dropped. What
if
about
there's
a
someone to
12-teamer?
pick, I don't think there's a reason to drop him. Like there's someone else on your bench that you can drop. You're not playing him though.
I stayed away from him, just like you said with Amari Cooper. I did not touch Fitzgerald.
I think he might come back strong in the second half though, because I think this is like a rapport with a rookie quarterback kind of thing.
It's also an injury. The guy's got injuries. Let's see him get healthy and let's see what happens.
Back
To
and
me,
hamstring.
listen, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not quitting on him just yet. I'm getting close to quitting on him, but I'm.
Are you gonna play him?
Well, I mean, he's on my bench.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in 2 leagues. He's not starting.
He's just a hold.
He's a hold.
Yeah.
He's a hold, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Waiver wire. Waiver wire did not look very busy this week, and then with a big injury, we have a waiver wire thing to talk about. But first of all, we'll start with Mike Davis. He's an interesting waiver wire pickup because two-headed backfield in Seattle. Chris Carson is looking good, but Mike Davis is still relevant.
Who got the first carries in that game? That's the
Carson
question.
got the first carries.
And Penny got 0
Penny
touches.
is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Rashard Penny is
Yeah, I like Mike Davis. He's all right. It's tough to tell with Seattle. I mean, I think they're turning back into like the team they were 5 years ago, where like they're run first. So I think he and Chris Carson, one of them's going to have a good game each game.
Right. They're both going to see plenty of targets, especially against the Raiders.
Here's why I really like Mike Davis and why I actually would say get him. Carson can't stay healthy. And if Carson can't stay healthy and Rashad Penny has showed you nothing,
Yeah.
Mike Davis could be huge. Huge.
Huge.
Yeah. We're talking about you win leagues late in the year with that running back that comes out of nowhere that you don't expect that becomes the guy. Mike Davis could easily become the guy in a run-heavy offense in Seattle. To me, I think he's a guy to have. Now, he's not going to produce for you right away, but Carson is just, he doesn't stay healthy. He already missed a game this year. He gets banged up really quickly. Carson runs really hard. You see it. He's a real hard runner. I just think Mike Davis is going to be very relevant at some point this season.
The question's not about his relevancy. It's about whether it's more important to get him or an Eagles running back.
Well, that's next.
Or a 49ers running
Now
back.
we're 49ers running back. Here's the next one. Are you picking up, obviously with the big injury of J.J., are you picking up Wendell Smallwood or are you picking up Corey Clement? Clement is owned in a little more leagues than Smallwood is, but not much. Like the highest ownership I see for Clement's like 25%. Smallwood's under 10%, so Smallwood's available almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Who are you going to get?
I'm going to get Smallwood over Clement.
Why do you feel that way?
He's healthier. They're going to use them both because the Eagles like to use multiple running backs. But I think it just comes down to he's healthier and he's more available. Steve?
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. He's not injured yet. I think he caught like 3 or 4 passes the past couple of weeks, so like that's always good for fantasy football. Clement, I think, is probably more talented, but weren't we talking about this last time I was on the podcast? Players who are questionable with like a hamstring are the dangerous ones.
Clement's a quad.
Or, like a lower body injury.
Yeah, lower body injury.
But that's not good for a running back.
I'm deferring to my 2 Eagle fans here. So you guys are the Eagle fans. You know this team better than me.
The last time Clement played, I believe he started the game and then left. Like he was questionable going in, then played and then left, meaning he like aggravated it. So I would be a little skeptical that might happen again. And put simply, exactly what Christina said.
Okay.
Smallwood is healthier.
Okay.
But they're going to use them both.
Yeah,
I think they're both relevant.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get another running back.
It'd be interesting.
Like that's sort of the Eagles.
LaShawn McCoy,
like they got Ajayi last year around this time.
LaShawn McCoy is absolutely like the perfect fit just because of his history there.
I think he would be.
He knows
and he would be happy to come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'd be thrilled to get out of jail, i.e. Buffalo, New York. Oh, no, it's terrible. But
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly fans
As an
would
Eagle
welcome
fan?
him with open arms.
Yep.
Does he still have like off the field?
Yeah, we don't know what's
bit.
going on with McCoy. We've been kind of avoiding the McCoy topic this year because I just, these off the field things, what we heard about McCoy sounds so horrible. I didn't want to get into it. I was avoiding it just because, if
about it a little bit.
I don't even want to get into it. But Smallwood and Clement, I think, are both could be relevant. But I get what you're saying. A lot of people are higher on Smallwood just because he's healthier. So I get that. Alfred Blue. You going to get Alfred Blue? Nice game this week. Better game than Lamar Miller had all year. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Definitely grab him in a PPR. He's got a bad matchup this week against Buffalo, though.
Yeah, it's still Buffalo, but yeah, Buffalo's defense is good.
Their run defense is good.
You're right.
Do we have information on Deontay Foreman?
Donta Foreman is returning after week 7. In week 7. I'm sorry. He's returning next week. We don't know much about him. Now, Lamar Miller is supposed to play this week. So I don't know how much Alfred Blue is going to get if Lamar Miller is going to play. But the one thing about Lamar Miller that we just need to accept, he stinks. Flat out stinks.
Alfred Blue might push Miller out of the starting gig.
I think Alfred Blue is also not that good at football. I mean, it's not like he's a rookie. We've seen him for the past couple of years as a fill-in, and he's never done anything.
You know, he'll have one game where he does 120 yards, and the next game will do nothing.
Yeah.
Right, so if you ask me, I'm staying away. But he's fine if you need a running back, which plenty of people do. If you are playing a Jai, and if you need someone.
Here's what I do with Alfred Blue. To me, he is the classic after midnight on waivers pickup.
Ooh.
Not the guy you.
No one else
not
is
the
gonna.
guy you put. This is not the guy you put a waiver claim in for.
After midnight?
But it's the guy, yes, after midnight. After midnight, we pick up Alfred Blue.
Ooh.
And we watch sexy movies.
And we watch what? Kenny!
That took a strange turn.
After midnight.
Oh, jeez.
So, I don't think... Yeah, I know, right?
You're concerned about a Jew joke, and then you're talking about sexy movies with Alfred Blue.
Anyway. I think Alfred Blue, he's not going to get picked up. So I think what will happen is you wait until, you wake up tomorrow morning and he's sitting there as a free agent and you've got a roster spot to burn. Go get him. You might get lucky.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't use a claim on him.
Alfred Blue is still there in the morning.
Yeah. Oh. You make him breakfast,
You
right?
make a move.
Alfred Blue can get you lucky after midnight.
Hey.
Can we make a new segment about that?
The after midnight.
The
after midnight pickups.
Yes.
After midnight. Who gets you lucky?
After midnight.
We have a bomb chicka wow wow.
Yes.
Yeah, do we have any of
It's a new
this?
segment.
Oh, for goodness
Sounds
sake.
good.
Next week.
All right, next
Stay
week.
tuned.
How about the greatest name in football this year? Marquez Valdez Scantling. Are you picking him up?
Well, Kenny, you talked about him last week now, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I liked him last week.
Okay, and did you play him?
I did not start him. I picked him up. I didn't start him, and that was dumb of me. I did not start him.
He
I
had a
should
good game this week.
He had a good game this week. I mean, to me, his relevance is completely tied to the health of Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb. If they're not healthy, he's good, and if they're healthy, he's back to the bench.
Exactly.
So yeah, the Packers are tough too. They got a lot of mouths to feed and great quarterback. But
a lot of mouths to feed, but they're pretty consistent. Allison's been very consistent this year when he's been playing.
He's been great.
And if Allison's, by the way, if Geronimo Allison's on waivers, he shouldn't be.
Nope.
He needs to be on a roster. That's a must.
Yeah. Randall Cobb is still out, I think. I think Cobb is no more.
Yeah, I think Cobb's down too. Which name do we like better this year? Do we like Marquez Valdez Scantling or do we like Kiki Cute?
Kiki.
Oh, I think Kiki wins that one.
Kiki wins that one. The name of the year so far?
Yeah.
Football name of the year?
Marquez has just turned into MVS. I've heard
MVS.
people just calling him the MVS because no one even wants to say it.
Yeah. You picking up Robbie Anderson this week? We just talked about him.
I was thinking about picking him up last week. Now this week you're going to have to fight for him.
Yep.
I just don't like Darnold. Like, who wants to pick up a wide receiver with
Actually, honestly, that feeds into what I was saying before. Like, I don't really like Enunwa anymore because Darnold's getting more confident. He's spreading the ball around. Now everyone's going to get like 3 targets, and no one's really going to have a good game. But Robbie Anderson, to me, has the highest ceiling because he's the guy who's going to catch it, make one juke, and then run 60 yards down the field.
Right. Kenny?
No, I mean, if you need a receiver, it's worth a shot. He's going to get picked up a lot this week.
He falls into that category. If you need a receiver, or if you're like, let's say, this is an interesting point. Let's say you're like, 1-4 and you're projected to lose by 30 points. Robbie Anderson's kind of the guy you want to play over like a safer play like a Larry Fitzgerald or Doug Baldwin. Or something.
Might get you 10 points.
I think that's a fair point. Actually, and I got a league where I have to start Baldwin this week, so maybe Robbie Anderson's a good player.
Well, exactly.
And they're playing.
Watch Baldwin get 2 touchdowns.
I'm probably playing Baldwin because I love Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, I mean, But then you're falling into the trap of playing Baldwin because of his name.
I am.
If you're not paying, well, yeah.
You're waiting for that You're waiting for that game with Baldwin.
I am.
Yeah,
I agree.
Which he does have. He does have every year. He always has like a 2 or 3 touchdown game. Didn't he have a 3 touchdown game last year?
He wins you a week
by himself.
when he's good. He really can do it. And I think it's also a health thing with Baldwin. But anyway, so Robbie answer. Here's another if you need a receiver this week and this week alone. How about Josh Reynolds? Who is Josh Reynolds? Josh Reynolds came in when Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp went out with concussions, and he would be a starting receiver for the LA Rams if either of them are out.
I don't think they're both going to be out this week, though.
Even if one of them's out, though, I think Reynolds starts. You want him?
No.
You don't want to deal with him? Not interested?
I don't know if he has the talent that those guys have.
I don't think so either.
And I wouldn't play him.
Yeah. Well, is there any info on? Did those guys practice today?
The word is Kupp is in protocol and Cooks is still in protocol. So we don't know. We don't know what we're doing with this. My opinion of Josh Reynolds is, again, I like him as an after midnight pickup again. I don't think people are going to grab him. Yes, after midnight, Josh Reynolds can get you lucky. I want a Rams receiver on my team. They've shown you that it's pretty clear. It's Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, Todd Gurley. That's their team. And obviously Goff. If one of them's out, I'd take a shot on Josh Reynolds for a week. It's not a long-term thing, but he's like, he's a plug and play.
Who do they play this week? The Rams?
Who are they playing this week? That's an awfully good question.
I was thinking.
Playing Denver. They're playing Denver this week. That's going to be interesting. Yeah. So. There's something upset about that, too.
This fun entertainment center
absolutely.
that we're recording in.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Someone might be having
seizures out there.
Yeah, seizures out there.
Certainly. So, yes. So, all right.
Well, so wait. So what's the report on Cooper Kupp and
both
Brandon
in concussion
Cooks?
protocol.
But they were symptom-free on Monday, both of them.
But it's protocol.
That doesn't mean they're going to play.
Doesn't mean they're going to play.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's a good sign.
It's a good sign. I wouldn't use waivers, but if he's around, this is a Sunday morning thing. You see that they're out and you need a plug and play. Josh Reynolds is a great plug and play.
That is a good categorization for him. He's a Sunday morning kind of guy.
Sunday morning plug and play. There
Don't
you go.
waste a waiver.
It's getting filthy. All right. Injuries. Greg Olsen might be back this week. What do you think? How about that?
Was he dropped in any leagues?
He dropped in a lot of leagues. Yeah.
And then he was subsequently picked up and put on an IR spot in many leagues too.
Yes, by Steve in one of our leagues. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with him though, because you don't really want to roster 2 tight ends, and I'm definitely not going to play him his first week back.
Right? Is he going to be 100%?
Definitely not.
No, he's not. He's not going to be until next year.
But he is one of the best tight ends in the game.
He is.
At what age though? 33 years old, injured. Just saying.
You were talking about this is you don't usually want to roster tight ends. I am rostering 2 tight ends in almost every league I'm in this year.
Really?
I am in one
because of how thin tight end is.
So if you have a good one, you just hold on to him.
Yeah, I'm just I'm stashing Hayden Hurst in a lot of leagues for the same reason. I'm just tight end is so
it's tough,
hard to find. If you lose your tight end this year, you're screwed. You really are.
I had a really good week for streaming tight ends because I have Trey Burton is like my number 1 tight end. I have him on 4 of 7 teams, so I needed to pick up 4 tight ends this week. So I got Austin Hooper in 2 leagues.
That's excellent.
Killed it this
week.
week.
What a week!
And Vance McDonald, I'm sure.
I picked up Vance McDonald in 1 league. He didn't do anything.
Right.
And then Jeff Swaim, I think, is pretty good too.
Jeff Swaim's a nice little low end player. Well, on a team that they don't throw the ball.
Right.
But he was their.
He's
They don't
their
throw the ball,
guy,
but he was their leading receiver. Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's exactly what you want in a streamer.
Absolutely, you want the guy that's going to be targeted. So, really interesting to see Greg Olsen going forward.
I'm surprised Olsen's back. I thought he was done for the year.
We don't know.
He was too.
It's not a done deal that he's back, but he was running. So there's a good thought that he's playing this week. So,
before. I think he had like a string of 2 injuries. He had an injury last year. Prior to last year, he went like 8 seasons without missing a game.
Right.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Yeah. He's getting up there. He's hitting the ripe old age of 90.
33.
He's like
It's 90 in football years.
He's like a Frank Gore type. This dude takes care of his body. He's well conditioned. So I think when he comes back, if he comes back, he's going to be pretty strong.
if he does come back, if you're a Funchess owner, that's where you got to worry. Because Funchess is good when Olsen's out, and Funchess is not so good when Olsen's
I watched that game, and I don't feel so great about Devin Funchess.
Yeah.
Because they started targeting DJ Moore.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel.
Yep.
Funchess was supposed to be their de facto number one, and now he's kind of like he's number one.
Yeah. I've never been a big Funchess fan to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We talked about, we got to get to the two running backs that drive you nuts with their injuries, with their hamstring injury. The hamstring running backs, Dalvin Cook and Leonard Fournette. Fournette is likely out again. Boy, I hope you have TJ Yeldon. You drafted Fournette. I loved Fournette, and that would be the end of me with Fournette for a long time. And then Dalvin Cook. Now, here's the problem with Dalvin Cook. Latavius Murray kind of stinks, too. So what do you do with that?
I don't even know. Out of the two of those guys, I have Dalvin Cook, and I don't even know what to do with him. He's been on my bench, and I'm just like, I don't know.
32 teams in the NFL. Last place in rushing is Minnesota Vikings.
Their offensive line is an even bigger problem. Their offensive line is god awful.
I think in terms of passing efficiency, they're like top 5.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Cousins, Diggs,
Thielen,
and a little bit of Rudolph.
Yeah.
And then you add, the occasional Laquan Treadwell.
But I mean, they have to run the ball
at some point. Yeah,
they have
That's
to
why
run
I
it.
think they learned their lesson with trotting Cook out there like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and now they're like, okay, let's give him the time he needs so that when he goes out there, he's like close to 100%, and he can be the star that we drafted him as. Because the last year he was amazing for 5 weeks or whatever.
He was. This is the get healthy week for the Minnesota Vikings because they're home.
They need a bye.
They're home, but they're home for the Arizona Cardinals. So this is almost a bye.
Yeah.
So,
are they going to play him?
Now we don't know.
In theory, they should be able to just win this game without Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I was nervous the fact that he was out pretty quickly last week, and that he regressed.
He practiced in a limited way today. Dalvin Cook.
Okay.
Which is good.
We'll keep an eye with that.
But do you play him?
That's a Sunday morning kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we talked about Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp and concussion protocol. Keep an eye with them this week. We'll see if they're going to be playing. You probably won't know until Friday or Saturday.
Did you see the hit on Brandon Cooks?
Oh, that was a horrible hit. That was so scary. And he got up. Thank goodness he got up, but he went limp for a sec. Man.
He's a limp.
That's so scary.
He's a limp biscuit.
He's a little guy. He's a little limp. He's limp.
Wishing Brandon Cooks well. That made us so nervous watching that. So. Yeah. And now for the segment that all of America is talking about, and especially if you're a fantasy football fan, are you f***ing kidding me?
Kenny! Have you ever heard such a thing?
Oh yeah.
Yes, just hang out with me on a Sunday, yelling at a TV. And
it's
that
fun.
Phrase from me.
All three
More
of us.
often than not.
All three of us and Thomas just cussing at the TV.
So here's your first thing to talk about. Mason Crosby.
Yeah. What the?
We got our first curse word from our featured guest.
Yeah, I almost lost because of Mason Crosby. At one point, he was at -4. He missed 4 field goals. He did eventually make one, and it was a 50-yarder, so that brought him back to 0.
Right.
So net 0 didn't lose me the week.
I was watching the game with a friend. His name's Eric. We work together, and we were just looking at the score, and he's like, "I'm getting negative points." Well, his opponent was getting negative points, so he was very happy. He ended up getting, in Eric's league, -2 points. What did he end up getting in your league?
0.
Oh, 0. Yeah, so I guess this gave him a little bit more negative points than your league did. And everyone's different, but
Every league's different. Actually, I have him in 2 leagues, and in my other league, I think he ended up giving me 4 points.
I want to hear stories.
Because you didn't lose for missed field goal.
I want to hear some stories. I mean, if anybody's out there that lost because of Mason Crosby this week, I want to hear a story like that. That is a classic fantasy football screwed you story.
Aaron Rodgers lost.
That too. Yeah.
What did he do?
Team lost.
The Green Bay Packers lost.
Yeah,
There's a story.
There's a story for you.
Yes. That's Ken Bolke, by the way, our great engineer.
We love you, Ken.
And a big Tampa Bay Bucks fan, which is why you'll get the occasional Tampa Bay Bucks jab from us here.
Man, we haven't said anything about
No, I said Ronald
Jameis
Jones. That's why I
Winston.
looked at Ken on that on the Ronald Jones shit because he looked at me. He's like, "Oh my God, somebody actually made that move." So, but yeah, no. So I want to know if Mason Crosby, if you started Mason Crosby and you lost because of Mason Crosby, or if he got you negative points in the league.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came out this week he's on IR with a groin injury or something. Because like he just looked wrong. Like you could see it in his face. He was
Yeah,
like,
he looked
"What am I
gray
doing?"
because he's 34 years old.
Is he 34?
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that. To be
Well,
honest.
Vinatieri's 43.
Yeah,
so,
he's only
you know.
30. I mean, only for a kicker. He was. They put the camera on him without his helmet on. Poor guy was graying every minute. His hair was so gray.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible.
Poor guy.
Bad week
Yeah.
for kickers.
It was one of the worst weeks for kickers, except for Graham Gano, who made a kick that sunk the Giants. You talk about sinking the Giants. The Giants had that game won.
That's the first time the Giants scored 30 points in like 3 years.
Over a year.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
they
sad.
finally got their offense going, and then they lose the game on a 63-yard field goal. And they didn't. And not that the Giants played a great game, but they came back and they showed you some toughness.
Boy, that NFC East. Bunch of losers.
And what about Thursday night this week? Giants home for the
Oh,
Eagles.
it's gonna be a
It's
fun
gonna be
game.
fun.
Oh,
It's gonna be a
boy.
fun game.
You guys coming over?
Game.
Sure.
Interesting game.
Buffalo chicken dip.
Ooh.
Now, here's another thing for you. Are you bleeping kidding me here? Christina and I both have an 0-4 team that went 0-5 because we faced the top scorer in the league. What do you do?
Again, it's just, I'm very excited for the game. Like, all right, here's my turn. Here's my turn this week, and then it's going to go sky high. And then I end up playing the guy who scores the most points in the league. Are you fucking kidding me?
Hey.
Christina!
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I had to get that out.
Yeah. No, it's unbelievable.
So now
Yeah.
Kenny and I are 0-5.
0-5,
in
one
separate
league.
leagues.
2 separate leagues. I have one league out of my 24 that I'm 0-5 because I faced the guy that scored 150 points this
I
week.
can't do anything. I don't.
And I think the fourth highest score in the league. It wasn't the second highest. It was supposed to be second highest, and then Will Lutz didn't do much last night. It would have been second highest, and there you go.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
Yes, I mean, that's where it's like, you can be mad, but you just got to make good
You
decisions.
just live with
and
it.
If there's
Now-
nothing you could have done, then there's nothing you could have done.
Now, in my 0-5 league this week, I'm up against the Kamara owner, and Kamara is out, obviously, on a bye.
Good
So
for
if
you.
I don't get my win this week in that league, then it's. I mean, listen, 6 losses is pretty much the death knell of a fantasy team anyway.
Yeah.
So this
true.
is it. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
And-
I get frustrated at that kind of stuff, and I get mad at myself for being upset when I look at like I never get to play anyone who has like a bye filled team. You know what I mean? Because it's always great when you're like, all right, who am I playing this week? Oh, sweet, I'm playing against Antonio Brown on her, and the Steelers are on a bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that does happen. Once and it's nice to see that.
Oh, it's
so
a huge bonus.
it's a
I
huge
mean,
bonus.
That's total luck. though.
That is total luck.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. That's a point in Christina's favor for total luck. Fantasy
that's
football.
your debate.
That is our
of whether fantasy-
ongoing fantasy football is luck or skill debate that we have.
We should have a
all
big
the
one
time.
at the end of the season.
Yes, we should. That'll be our wrap up show.
All right. Sounds
And
good.
now it's time for the song you've been waiting for from Christina Shaw.
It's Wednesday night. Who should you choose? Make the right choice so you win, not lose. Start or sit, start or sit, start or sit.
It's all about the glissando at the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes the song.
Wow, you guys are good.
Thanks.
You know, we could use a drummer. Do you know anybody?
Let me check Facebook.
Steve is an amazing drummer here in town.
No,
just
thanks.
played Monday's Dark last night with Kenny,
night.
didn't you?
We did. We had Monday's Dark here at the space where we record this show every week. And we had a great show last night doing raising money for a great cause, as we always do on Monday's Dark, and doing a night of boy bands music. It was a lot of fun.
Ba,
So,
ba, ba.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, Allison took a bunch of videos. I watched them. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was a good show last night. So, and we recommend you always coming to Monday's Dark. It was a packed show too. There was
my
not
gosh.
NBC
Always
in the house.
packed.
That was
Yeah.
particularly
It's
packed.
getting
last
even
night.
more packed
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Don't tell the fire marshal.
Yep. No.
Is he a fantasy football fan? I hope not.
So hey, I've got 3 start-sit issues this week, and if anybody has any other ones, but I'll give you the 3 I've got. The first one: T.Y. Hilton or T.J. Yelton. The battle of the T initials.
That's an easy
T.Y.
one.
or T.J.
There's an easy one. I mean, you can't make that decision yet because you don't know if Ty is going to play.
If
right?
Ty is healthy.
He
What are
didn't
you doing?
practice Monday.
Okay.
I'm sort of leaning toward Yeldon. I mean, he's a running back. You always want to play running backs. Generally score more.
Usually, though, this year the wide receivers are scoring so much that actually it's better off playing a wide receiver in a flex this year. But I think in this situation, I'm playing Yeldon.
Is Fournette definitely going to be out?
Yeah.
Yes,
Fournette
I mean it's
ruled
not
out.
definite, but it's pretty much he's pretty much.
I
He hasn't
thought
been
he was
ruled, he hasn't
ruled
been
out.
officially ruled out yet, but he's pretty doubtful.
Yeah, but Ty is the clear number one if he plays.
He is, and I don't like the Jacksonville game this week. They're playing Dallas. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I just don't. But Yeldon's the guy. I'm playing Yeldon probably in that situation. I'm just living with it. I don't want to play a guy with a hamstring injury. Even though Ty is
a
as
beast.
gutsy a player as you
Yeah.
find in terms of playing through injuries.
Exactly.
Have you ever seen interviews with him?
No,
his
not.
accent is awesome.
Is it?
He's from like Louisiana or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Maybe Arkansas. I can't remember, but he's got that like super southern drawl. Like you can't even really understand him. It's great.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
Eric Ebron or Jimmy Graham? This one killed me.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. I
just
started
hate-
Graham last week, and
Yeah.
that's the one league I did. I sat Ebron in 2 leagues. One was for Jimmy Graham, one's for Jarrett Cook. Got screwed both times.
Well, the problem is Graham is playing on Monday night. So
Come on, but you're making the decision now. Like,
right,
you're playing
I know.
Graham Monday night, or you're going to
but,
play Ebron?
but you don't know about what's going on with Cobb and Allison. Are they playing?
That is an issue.
So that's where I'm going with
So,
this.
so you're saying if they don't play, then Jimmy Graham's a better choice.
Exactly.
He is.
But you can't how do you make that decision on
You're
who
gonna
they
go with your recency bias with Ebron destroying the world.
It's
Right.
not so much recency bias. To me, it's all Jack Doyle based. If Jack Doyle's out, to me, you play Ebron no matter what.
Right.
I would play Ebron no matter what the matchup is against, as long as Doyle is out.
and they're playing the
And that
Jets.
means over Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham he's lost a step. You know, he's still good. He's a solid tight end 1 in a tight end year where there's terrible tight ends. He's still a tight end 1, but I'm playing Ebron in that situation.
I agree.
And here's one. This is the one where I decided in my own 5 league. I said I'm playing Doug Baldwin. My option is Kenyon Drake. So it's basically, which coach do I trust? Do I trust Adam Gase to get Kenyon Drake the ball? Or do I trust Brian Schottenheimer, who's the play caller in Seattle, to get Doug Baldwin the ball when it's a run-heavy offense? The matchup, though, is really good for Seattle. They're playing Oakland. Oakland
Right.
can't stop anybody. Who are you playing there? Doug Baldwin, Kenyon Drake.
I'm saying Drake.
Yeah, I tend to lean toward running backs, but yeah, I haven't seen anything from Baldwin. I mean,
Right, exactly. Until he
I
proved
mean, he
himself.
did get a bunch of targets to his first week back, like a week ago,
Yes, he did.
but it wasn't.
He got
didn't-
7 in
didn't-
his first week
he
back.
didn't blow the lid off the place, though.
No.
It was like 9 fantasy points or something.
But
small.
Kenyon Drake, he can just shoot you in the foot.
You can. I think I'm going Baldwin. I think that's what I'm going to do in that game.
All
I'll
right.
go Baldwin. So
Yeah, I really don't trust Kenyon Drake.
yeah, that's
But
the
I don't
problem. I don't trust Kenyon Drake either.
I really don't.
I don't trust Adam
I don't
Gase.
I wonder if you have a
Baldwin
third. You have a
either.
third option that's better than he does.
Yeah.
this
I
year?
don't think I do this week.
I would play like a Tyler Boyd or like a.
I have him. I have a lot of guys on bye in that week. In this week, I have Kerryon Johnson bye, Golden Tate's on bye.
Yeah.
So
the Lions.
I have
Lions and Saints this week.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of options there. So
All right, so we have some start or sit questions
Go
from
for
our,
it.
from our listeners.
go for it.
This is from Eric. He wants to know Freeman or White?
This is Devonta
Which Freeman? Devonta Freeman
Devontae Freeman, sorry.
or James White?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going James
James
White.
White.
Yeah.
All day long, James White.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Devonta Freeman's got to show me.
Right.
And not only that, I mean, James White's in a shared backfield, but he's got a role. We know what his role is in that backfield.
Yeah, and also James White's a beast.
He's a
yeah,
beast.
he's been
absolutely.
playing so good.
Yeah,
He's
you know,
like
you
the
know,
best
you're not
PPR
sitting, You're
player.
not sitting James White until he craps the bed for a week, and then maybe you sit him. So
He
yeah,
caught like 10 passes last game.
yeah,
or something.
that's James White all the way.
Same starter sit question for James White or Lamar Miller
James White.
Yeah, it's almost easier to who wouldn't you play?
against.
Like who would you play over James White? There's only like 8 or 9 running backs total that I would play over James White.
Right now, until he
I mean,
proves,
it's
until
like
he proves
the
you
obvious.
otherwise.
It's like the obvious ones.
Yeah, no, until he proves you otherwise, you play James White. He's too good.
I think
Yeah.
Brady's starting to click. He really trusts James White.
That offense is back
I
finally.
think
too.
James White has like one of the highest floors of any running back.
I agree.
All right, so Pete, we say James White. And one more question, also from my friend Eric. Kiki or Jones?
Which Jones?
Julio?
Green Bay's.
Aaron Jones or Kike Cute?
Cute.
I go Kike.
I go Kiki too. He's got the hot hand.
Aaron Jones is going to break out one of these weeks, though.
Yeah, but until you see it happen, that's another coaching issue. Mike McCarthy, who the whole run blocking thing with Jamal, if you see Aaron Jones run block, he's fine.
Right.
And Aaron Jones is averaging 6 yards a carry when he gets the ball. And they didn't put him on the field in the whole second half.
Right.
Against Detroit. Come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Are you f***ing kidding me? Oh,
See?
sorry. We're over that segment.
Oh, that's an ongoing segment. Yeah. I'm playing Kike.
We're playing Kike.
You watch that guy. That guy just looks like a guy that's going to produce all the time.
Yeah.
He looks excellent.
Yep.
So
Certainly helps Deshaun Watson.
he does. I got to start a question from my friend Joey Abadisino. He says, as a Redskins fan, what drugs should I start taking? And what's the beer or alcohol to numb the pain for when I sit and watch them? That is his start sit question.
The beer or alcohol that you should be drinking
Can we condone any of this?
is
Why
whiskey. Whiskey.
You're gonna decided as a Redskins fan that's whiskey.
Whiskey. You're going to need something strong and smooth.
Yeah, I was going to say like grain alcohol so you can just hit it as hard as you can. As quickly as you can.
Now they're home for Carolina this week. Watch them beat Carolina this week.
Yeah, I think
Just watch it happen.
The Redskins are better than they looked last night, although Alex Smith does not look good.
Alex Smith. Well, he has no weapons.
Jordan Reed's the only person they have.
And they didn't even use Jordan Reed much last night.
Him.
And Crowder is, they've got nothing there.
Both of their running backs got injured.
Yeah. They do have some
rough,
issues.
Man.
And yet,
That's rough.
watch them go and watch them go beat Carolina this week. Just watch it happen, right?
I kind of like Carolina to be. They're one of the. I think they're going to be a playoff team, a strong.
Carolina's
strong
a
contender.
strong team. They just are. But they're going on the road in Washington. It's just your obvious game that you don't think that a team like the Redskins got slaughtered this week.
Yeah.
You don't think they have a chance.
I see what you mean.
Watch them go happen.
I would still bet on Carolina.
Yeah.
You remember my call from last week? Mm-hmm. I said the Bills were going to beat.
I had
who they play? Tennessee.
They played the Titans.
I was like, this is going to be a trap game. The Bills.
Yep.
Bills
I bet on the Bills this week. I had that, and I had the Browns, and they won that game too. The team that screwed me out of my parlay.
I was going to say, did you win or not?
No, the Redskins. It was the Raiders.
Did you see that?
I bet on the Raiders because it's not that I bet on the Raiders. I bet against the Chargers. When the Chargers are a favorite, I like betting against them.
Because they screw themselves.
They're just one of those teams that doesn't seem to get done, but they were great this week. So
Did you see the field goal that won the Browns the game?
Yes. That is the ugliest field goal I've ever seen.
The lamest duck field goal.
It went in.
Everyone's like, did we just win with that?
It went in, and they rejoiced in Cleveland. And it's, you know what? Is there anything more Cleveland Browns than a win like that?
My friend Eric, who listens to the show, he is a Browns fan, and we were texting when that happened, and we were like, yay, but what?
I find myself rooting for the Browns a lot this year because I'm heavily invested in them in fantasy.
They're fun to watch.
Invested in them. I'm heavily invested in Baker Mayfield. I was more invested in Callaway, but I found myself dropping him. But I'm very heavily invested in Njoku.
I'm sticking with Njoku.
I love
too.
Njoku. Njoku since Mayfield has been
he's
very,
part
very
of the
steady.
offense. I'm playing him over Vance McDonald. I think.
I agree with that.
I agree with that as well.
And Njoku's a top 10 tight end. Not much higher.
He needs to find the end zone.
No, if he finds the end zone, he's even higher than that. But he's a top 10 tight end, without a doubt. And and then you got Landry, who hasn't really been great the last couple weeks, but I think this week they're against the Chargers this week, so I think that'll be a good week for them.
That'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah. So, and now, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to close out our show, it is time for a weekly fantasy football burial. And I have two Eagle fans sitting with me. This all came down Monday. We didn't expect this to happen because it looked like, we got through the game on Sunday unscathed. And then you find out yesterday, a torn ACL for Jay Ajayi. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to bury the fantasy football season and NFL season of one Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi, the darling of fantasy 2 years ago for the Miami Dolphins. Traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Wasn't so great when he was, but then last year, but came back this year, was the number 1 running back, got 2 touchdowns in his first game. Jeez, Christina. Stop it.
Huh?
He's trying to bury somebody here.
I'm just so sad.
Jeez. JJ, so sad. We hardly knew ye as a Philadelphia Eagle. May he rest in peace. And may Le'Veon Bell come onto your team and take your job. Goodbye to the JJ.
Why?
Yeah, it's not that sad. He's a bum.
Oh, Steve!
He got his Super Bowl ring. Thank you for your service. Now find another team.
Oh, wow.
His contract's up too. If he leaves, we get some cap space. We're good. Good to go.
Is it true what they say that Philadelphia Eagle fans are brutal? You now have proof, ladies and gentlemen.
The
they
city-
are brutal.
I said thank you for your service.
The city, as we like to say in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly shove.
Oh my goodness.
We're so
No heart
I
whatsoever.
mean, I want the guy to come back and play for someone else. Like, I don't want his career to be over.
Tampa Bay, anybody?
Oh.
I have Cam Newton in a league, or not Cam Newton. I have Drew Brees, so I got to find a streamer. I'm looking for Jameis Winston.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a great
Yeah.
streamer. That's a good question if you are a Drew Brees owner. Jameis Winston, streamer.
My other option is Andy Dalton. What do you think?
No, Winston.
Winston.
Yeah, I'm going Winston all the way. Actually, Winston's a good guy for the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On that offense, I think he will put Fitzpatrick numbers
Fitzmagic?
Yes. Fitztragic. Yeah.
Didn't we put that name in the grave?
Yes, we all long. Yeah, we
Fitzmagic.
definitely did. Absolutely. So, and you wanted to mention something about trades, about making trades. I know you were trying to trade Christina.
That might be.
Let's
Let's
get this out, guys. The trade that Christina looked at me and was like,
No.
why is Steve trying to trade me Emmanuel
You know what?
Sanders?
I tried to trade with what's his name, Eric too,
Okay.
and he gave me some sort of snarky response, and I was like, okay, dude.
Oh.
I was like, you take your 1 and 4, or what?
He's
2
not
and
2
2
and
and
3. Yep.
I'm like, good luck, pal.
Oh,
you know what?
I'm playing him this week.
Okay.
So
So what were you trying
Maybe
to
I
trade
have a
him?
chance.
What was this next?
I was trying to get Aaron Jones from him because he hasn't done anything yet. I think he might be something good. He was 1 and 3, so he had
What were you offering him?
like a receiver that was doing well, Emmanuel Sanders or Sterling Shepard
Okay. I wouldn't make that deal.
for Aaron Jones.
If I had Aaron Jones, no, I wouldn't make that deal.
Okay, yeah, it is a little one-sided, but
Yeah.
consider the situation. He's 1 and 3. He needs to make some moves.
But if you're a 1 and 3 team, you have to think like the 1 and 3 guy.
exactly.
Why would you trade Aaron Jones? Why would you trade
Because
but you're trading the ascending player. Why would you trade the ascending player for a guy that you know what he is, unless you desperately need a receiver? But like if I'm
I don't think it's as cut and dry as he was making it.
see me, if I'm not getting blown away by an offer, like if I'm 1 and 3, if somebody wants to purge my best players, I need to get blown away by an offer.
I agree.
Not equal value. I need to get overpaid. That's
Why
what-
would I overpay someone who's 1 and 3?
Because you want the player more than you want that player. Why should he sell him?
Right.
He's 1 and 3. Why should he trade him to you?
Because
It's
he
the other
needs
way
a
around.
win.
You have to think the other way around. You have to you have to, if you want to buy from the 1 and 3 player, you got to really overpay for it.
See, the way I see it is the 1 and 3 player just needs to win now, immediately.
But
So
how
they
are you
need the
going to
best.
win over mediocre players?
Because Sterling Shepard got like 20 points. Aaron Jones got 8.
But he ended up winning. Would Sterling Shepard have started for his team?
Probably in place. I think Aaron Jones is his flex.
That's his flex.
Look, it's like, yeah,
But
obviously
why-
we both like Aaron Jones better. So I was seeing what I'm just saying. It's not. He was like, "What do you think? I'm a complete idiot?" And I said, in my head, I'm like,
Well, if he said that, that's
all
a little
right.
out of line too.
Yeah, I'm
That's
just
out of
like,
line. No,
dude,
for him
it's like
to say, "What do
not
you think I'm a
cut and
complete
dry."
idiot?" is out of line.
I
That's-
didn't.
didn't say that to
I
you.
didn't offer him, freaking like Barry Sanders, someone who's not playing or something. You know what I mean? I didn't like offer him like a nobody.
This is true.
I was like a player who's gonna start and get a lot of targets for someone who you don't know what he is right
This
now.
is true.
And you're 1 and 3, so see you in the gutter.
And on that note, this is another edition of Our Vegas Fantasy. We went long this week, but we hope you enjoyed this show. Check us out on Spotify and download it and put Our Vegas Fantasy on Spotify. And how else can they listen to our show?
And we will post the link. We have a new Instagram page, Our Vegas Fantasy. Please follow us. Please like us. Please comment, share, and please send us your start or sit questions for week 7.
And thank you, Steve Weiss, for joining us again this week.
Thanks, Steve.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
That was fun.
And I'm not Christina Shaw. I'm Kenny Davidsen.
And I'm Christina Shaw.
See you next time.
Bye.